Welcome to the Awaken on Purpose podcast, where each week you'll hear inspirational stories of heart-centered leaders who have awakened to their higher purpose and taken that leap of faith to follow their heart and make an impact in the world. Get ready to be enlightened, empowered, and transformed with your host, Jennifer Spohr.
Excited to welcome as a guest to the show today, Krishna Mohan. He is an entrepreneur, business coach, speaker, a #1 best-selling author as seen on Fox TV and multiple media outlets, president of Genius Visionary, managing partner of Capital Street Investments, LLP, and president of Gifting Boutique. Over the last 20 years, he has helped 3 Fortune 500 companies and several startup organizations focusing on sales, business development, and finance. His management style has been described as decisive and motivational, where success comes from a focused commitment to developing new business, cultivating relationships, training salespeople, and creating growth strategies. He is involved in several acquisitions and mergers. Krishna has a master's degree in marketing management, MMM, an MBA-International Business, and an MS in finance. Krishna is an acclaimed speaker and regularly speaks in various corporate events, boot camps, and management trainings. Welcome, Krishna. It's an honor to have you as a guest today.
Thank you so much for that kind introduction, Jennifer. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be on your show.
Thank you. You're welcome, and I'm so happy to have you as a guest. And it's interesting because we were talking before this, and you and I, this is really the first conversation that we've had. And but it sounds like we share, several of the same beliefs. So I'm really excited to have this conversation with you today.
Yes, thank you for having me here.
So what actually inspired you to do the work you're doing today?
Yeah, that's a good question, Jennifer. Like you mentioned, I was actually coming from corporate background. I worked there for a long time. I worked for multinational companies. And then I worked for, startup companies in different industries like technology, data center designing and everything. And with that exposure, what I realized is there's a lot of, pressure. And then there's a lot of, I would say, running around to get things done, making things happen. And then what I observed is that people are not really, happy, even though they're chasing the things that they really want. They get their money, they get their positions, they get the power, they get everything, but there's something lingering all the time, something. So I started questioning all these, experiences that I have. What is it that I really want? Why am I doing what I really am doing? Is this really money? Is this really some position? Is this something else? And then gradually through that process, I start, realizing that, we all want happiness. We all want peace. We all want, good family life. We all want sense of security. We all want freedom. Through that conclusions, then I realized that, okay, then I need to take control of my own life. I need to take control of my own life, my own, profession, my own, my own business. And then that's how I got into my own business ventures. And then slowly, started, one business. And from there, I got into another business. So that's precisely, where the inspiration comes from.
What you said about taking control of your own life is so key. I had a similar experience when I transitioned from my prior career into starting a business a few years ago. And there are so many people out there who kind of live like they're a victim of circumstance, right? They kind of feel like they have to settle for what comes their way versus actually making life happen for them. So it's really important for everybody, listening to know, right, that, they are empowered to make different choices, to make choices that honor what brings them that happiness and fulfillment.
Yes, you're right. So I'll put it in a different way. We live in a cause and effect world. So you can live your life as an effect at every circumstance. So I got this job as an effect of somebody offering me a job. So that's how I got into sales. If you start looking at everything from a cause perspective and you become the cause, then the effect will change. And that effect is the effect that you actually want in your life. And that's how you actually take control of your life. You just need to switch the tables, operating from a proactive mode from a reactive mode. But you got to take certain initiatives and create those causes, so thereby the effects would be the things that you actually want in your life.
Absolutely. And I love how you framed that in such a clear, simple way. Krishna, every experience in our lives shapes who we are. What experience in your life do you feel has been significant in shaping who you've become today?
Well, the most of my experiences are, coming from, my childhood. I was born in, I grew up in India for a long time. I was there for my almost 30 years of my life in India. And yes, life is a mix of different experiences. It's a complex society where you see extremely rich people and extremely poor people, and then you see the middle class like struggling to meet their ends. And then with that kind of exposure, my life has always been relatively okay. But through those observations, I learned a lot, that life is not. Life can go any direction at any given point in time. So you got to be, living your day with gratitude for whatever you have. I've seen, as I mentioned, because of those extremes, it changed my perspective, that you have to be very well aware of the resources that you have, the privileges that you have, the education, the family, and then value and respect what you have, and then that would put you into better positions in life that can take you to wherever you want to go. And through that kind of background, I worked my way up. I got myself good education, and I worked very hard. Nothing is kind of given to me, but I work on my own free will, and then got into right kind of jobs that I really want. It's all, as I mentioned, proactive, not reactive. I chose my profession. I went to the kind of jobs I want to go on purpose. So I learn and then I grow, and then that's how I climbed up that ladder in terms of my profession. And then personally, I start evolving myself by life experiences, and then I started reading a lot of philosophy, spiritual kind of books. Earlier on in life, while I was in teens, I started my spiritual journey early in, maybe like I was like 12 or 13, and then it's a long journey. So it's a lot of introspection, a lot of self-learning, a lot of soul searching, I would say. And then from there, those with those experiences, I realized that eventually at some point I realized that my calling is that I need to help people. I want to be like a better human being. I want to be a contributor, not like a consumer. I want to, live in this world where I feel that I'm connected to the source. I'm connected to this universe. So that's how I derive my strength. Everything is possible. There are no limitations. That limitation is only in your mind. So yes, these are some certain, experiences and learnings and realizations that I got along the way. And then slowly I started, seeing those results in my life, and then, gained that, I would say, the confidence that I can do it. I can make it happen. I can take control of my life. Yeah.
There's so much wisdom in what you just shared. Thank you.
Thank you so
I'd
much.
like to touch on gratitude. would you agree that in order for us to express gratitude, there also is an element of humility in there?
Absolutely. You cannot have ego in whatever you think, act, and do. Humility is given. You have to be humble. You have to accept the fact, and you have to respect and appreciate every small thing. Today I'm grateful for the air I breathe. Today I'm grateful for the sun. Today, I have to be grateful for everything. I'm happy that I even have a roof on my head.
I
You can
agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I touch on that because there is so much out in media, right, and social media about the importance of expressing gratitude. But a lot of people express gratitude despite still being in a lack and scarcity mindset. There's an expressing gratitude, but there's still an element of entitlement there. Does that make sense?
I know that, Jennifer. Do you want me to share my thoughts and why
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
why there is a lack? I think the missing link between their gratitude on the surface level versus their, I would say, they're still not prosperous, is because they lack feeling in between. If they add feeling to it, like when you feel on whatever you say, you're actually feeling from your nervous system. And then your nervous system is not going to lie. And then that once it feels the feeling of whatever you expressed as gratitude, it is actually working in you, and it is actually kind of registered in your nervous system, and thereby it's almost creates that imprints at a subconscious level. And then because you live in the state of gratitude and thankfulness, your subconscious mind will work on you and put you in thankful situations where you will feel more gratitude. You express more gratitude. If I say thank you this very second, by law of nature, it will put me to thankful situation on the very next second. And that's how I continue to be in thankful situations, and then that's how the universe will respond to you in giving what you really want. But if you don't follow this cycle, yeah, you can be in gratitude all day long, but you're still poor.
There are a lot of people out there in the world who are in a similar place that we were at one point, as far as feeling that call to do more, to do something that brings them joy, to do something where they can make a bigger impact, but they may feel some fear around moving forward. What would be your number one piece of advice for those people to be able to take action forward today?
Well, yeah. So I think everyone needs to introspect. They got to spend some time with themselves every day. They need to step back from the daily routines and then start, thinking, who am I? Why am I here in the first place? What is it I really want? Where did I really start my life? Where am I right now? And where am I actually going in my life? What are the things that are really not happening in my life that I really want? Once you start, getting to that place, then you know exactly what's working and what's not working. And then you also know your strengths, your own weaknesses. Some may be perceived weaknesses, some may be real, some may be imaginary, but still at least you will have some idea about what they are. And then you can understand, okay, where you're at. Some things you cannot do, many things you can do, but at the same time, you kind of identify those resistance points. What is it that it is stopping me? Is that fear? Okay, if that is the fear, why am I fearful? What is the worst that could happen if I do it? There's no two ways about it. You have to face the fear head on. And most likely you realize that's just imaginary fear. There's nothing there. So unless you get to, this level of, thinking, you will not be able to handle or conquer that fear, you know, at a deeper level. On the surface level, it is always dominating you. The fear is dominating you. Maybe that's the one thing that it is stopping you because of social conditioning, social programming, cultural programming, family programming, and your childhood experiences and things like that. So somehow once you start becoming more aware of everything within you, then you can start, baby steps into taking action towards your destination, which is your goal. Do one thing. Oh, okay, so I did it. Okay, so then the next thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing, and then all of a sudden you realize you came along a long way. So then that's how the fear has no place. Eventually you will become confident because you are succeeding. You have many successful imprints that you developed along the way. And then you won't even think about fear because you are able to do this. Then you will be able to take a new action with the same process and not giving any space for fear.
So the first step in what you shared is really making space for yourself, correct?
Exactly.
Right, to start to raise your level of awareness, to start to ask yourself those questions. What is your why? Being honest with yourself about what you really want to do and not what you think you have to do. That's
Right.
really important because so many people are conditioned to believe that life has to be lived this cookie cutter way, that
Right.
success is only defined a certain way, but success really means something different for each of us.
Yes, that is so true. Yes. So you got to create, I would say you have to declutter your mind. That's how you get space. You cannot have a new space. You have to declutter it. You have so many things going on which are completely irrelevant and not required for your purpose. You know it. Everybody knows what they are. So once they start decluttering those things, there is a space out there for the right thing. And then that's how you start including all the right things that are serving you or that will serve your greater purpose, and then go for it. And then you will be surprised, Jennifer. You will be phenomenally successful if anybody can implement this way.
Yeah, for myself personally, I've been making space for myself for many years at this point, but meditation, implementing that as a practice was life-changing for me.
Yes, absolutely, because this is exactly what we discussed before. It's everything is interrelated, and you got to take time for that. You have to. It's just you have to calm down your mind. You got to you got to leverage your subconscious mind. You got to use your right brain. In other words. So there are a lot of things that are coming into this picture because you got to increase your level of awareness. You got to increase your consciousness, and these are too many things that I'm telling in a short time, but they are very important.
Absolutely. On that note, the importance of our ability to be present as well, because so many people stay in this loop, this Groundhog Day type of loop in their life of just staying stuck because they keep making decisions based upon their past experiences or their conditioning when we can't change the past, right? If we want a different result for our lives, we have to change the approach with which we assess, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So most of the people either spend their time in the past, or they spend their time in the future. So that's how it is. You're either living in, okay, I should have done that. I regret what I did it. This should not have happened this way. Why did that person did this to me? Is the past. Oh, I want to become that. I will do this. I will make that thing happen. One day I will go there. One day I will become that. Is my future. But the reality is, your present is your current reality. This moment is yours. And then whatever you want to do in future, whatever you really want in your life, if you take this one moment, which is right in front of you, is the only reality. As it is, that is the only reality. And then if you don't do anything about that very moment, then you lost that moment, and that becomes the past. And then the next very moment, you only have things to regret or things to anticipate. So the meditation that you mentioned is going to bring you to that present moment. It will increase your ability to be more aware. It will increase your consciousness. By that, you will start living more in the present moment. And once you start living in the present moment, then you have a lot of time and space, and even your attention to the very thing that you're focusing, and then you want to focus. And that's how you can get anything you want. At the same time, you will create many past good experiences that you can cherish for the future.
Thank you for that. Krishna, how can someone find you should they want to learn more about you? And then I know that you also have a special gift that you wanted to share with our listeners as well.
Yes. So what I want to do is to share my my recent book, which is basically how I find 10K in any business, without spending $1 on advertising and marketing. I do 45-minute breakthrough sessions with business owners, and then show what's possible for them. So I can offer that breakthrough session for free for your audience. At the same time, I can offer that 10K challenge book also for your audience. I can do that either by mail, or I can send a soft copy. So anybody, whoever is interested, can get in touch with me at Krishna@geniusbusinesscoach.com. Again, Krishna@geniusbusinesscoach.com. Or they can call me directly at 301-366-2828.
Krishna, it was such an honor to have you as a guest on the show today. And thank you just so much for all the wisdom that you've shared.
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. And I wish all the best for your audience. And I hope I added some value in bringing new thoughts and good thoughts and some soul searching that we all have to collectively do and to better our lives.
Absolutely. You provided so much wisdom and so much value. And, one of the main takeaways from the conversation, I think, is just that it doesn't have to be as complicated as we think it is to look to pursue those changes in our lives, right? And
Right.
The answers are within. We just have to give ourselves the space.
Absolutely, yes. Answers are within. That is it. It's the right way to put it. Yeah.
Thank you, Krishna.
Thanks so much, Jennifer. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Awake and on Purpose podcast. Please visit us and subscribe to the podcast at awakeandonpurpose.com so you never miss an episode. To learn more about how you can connect with your higher purpose and take that leap of faith to make your impact in the world, visit us at jenniferspor.com. And while you're there, be sure to join our email list for exclusive offers and a weekly dose of inspiration.